We are here at Caffeine Carburetors in New Canaan, Connecticut. So get ready for an awesome video and a great day, because we already have some amazing stuff showing up. Oh! This is insane.
Yes! Oh my. Oh. Guys, get out of the way.
Unfortunately, it is starting to drizzle, but that certainly does not stop the show, as we have a GT350 C1 lined up with the C8 Z06, two Chevelle SSs, Buick Grand Sport. You can see we have some more classics lined up, like the Aston Martin DB4, which is very nice, one of my favorite classic cars. This is also here last year. Ooh, another C8 just pulled in. And then the Jaguar XK120, I believe that is. But it doesn't get worse, it gets better, if anything. Right here we have a Dower 962 from the Cultivate, the collector. You can see we have all the Lambos lined up there, and some other cars. I'll try to cover them. And right over here, we have an E30 M3. It's looking very nice. But what's even better is not one, not two, but three Bugatti Veyrons, which is crazy. Seeing three Veyrons at one show all lined up together, just at this local car meet in town. Right here, I've never seen this kind of Veyron. It's sort of a unique spec, but I don't really like it too much. I think there's better specs you could get, but whatever, it still is a $2 million hypercar. But right over here, we do not have a normal Veyron. This is the Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse. I have spoke about in my last video how I think the Veyron Grand Sport Vitesse is one of the most special Veyrons. That is, of course, along with the Veyron Super Sport. But for me, I think it's my favorite Veyron and one of my favorite Bugattis of the modern era. I do like it much better than all the modern Bugatti models like the Chiron and the Evo, the Tourbillon, and the Mistral. But right over here we have the basic spec. Oh, Triumph TR6. Alright, more stuff is pulling in. But yeah, here we have a basic Veyron looking very nice. I think this is a gorgeous spec for the Veyron. I really like it. I've seen this one around before, both here and in Greenwich. Another Jaguar XK pulling up. Sounds pretty good too. The car is like 75 years old. And over here we have one of my favorite classic supercars, the Ferrari 275 GTB. I'm not sure if I've seen this one, but I have seen quite a few 275s in yellow right now. Oh, this is beautiful. Nowadays these are worth like $3 million or $2 million. Yeah, extremely special car. Not something you see every day, and definitely one of the most classic cars ever. It doesn't get much better than the classic Ferraris from the 1960s, in my opinion. You can see over here we have the new 12-cylinder. That's from Miller Motor Cars that brought it in. You can sort of see how much Ferrari has evolved over the last 60 years with these V12 front-engine V12 cars, the 275 and 12-cylinder. You could also see how they share some similarities in their design and their chassis, but you could definitely see how much the brand has changed. Starting off over here, we have the very iconic but not so fast DeLorean DMC-12 from Back to the Future, which it was made famous by. But over here we have a very nice and rare Lamborghini Aventador SV, which is a very special car. I actually have seen this one in white before, along with an orange Performante looking great. And then we have another C806. These are the best cars for the money, in my opinion. You could get it for like 100K, which is a bargain compared to other supercars at that same level. We have a Vantage over here. I'm not that crazy about the new Vantage, but it still is nice. And then we have this Lamborghini Gallardo down here.
Ooh.
There's another?
Oh, it's yeah. Come on. Let's not miss the bus this time.
Unfortunately, it rained a little more than expected, but now the weather has cleared up a little, so I'm going to try to cover as much as possible. You can see here we have our second F40 of the day, which is crazy. I actually just listened to this thing revving up. It sounded amazing, and it's like not something you get to see every day, especially in the rain, let alone hearing an F40 revving. In my opinion, it's the best sounding V8 ever. Definitely one of them. You can see here we have the F40 $3 million supercar, or hypercar even, from in the 1980s icon, lined up with entry-level Ferrari Portofino and then a 296. So yeah, you can see the crowd all near the F40. It's like the star of the show right now, basically. We have an E-type right here, one of at least 5 or 6, I'd say. I've seen a lot of E-types today. Yes, one of my favorite classic cars. Just do a walk around. See everything there is. Nice GT500 there. have a very nice Ferrari 550 Maranello. Quite an underrated supercar that has gone up in value, especially over the last 5 years. And it is starting to become a classic. You could see like how the front engine V12 Grand Touring design, very iconic for Ferrari. Yeah, I love these cars. You have Gran Turismo, followed by a few other stuff. But where the real excitement is, or was earlier, was over here. You can see we have a Murcielago, but not any Mercy. This is a Mercy SV, or at least an SV kit. I think it is a real Mercy SV, but it is this bad. So I'm not 100% sure, but I did search this up, and it did say it was a Mercy SV, so I'm pretty sure it is. We have a very nice 765 LT in blue. One of my favorite supercars of the 2020s, I'd say. But not only that, here we have a Dodge Viper ACR. These are insane, 8-liter V10. It doesn't get much more insane than this for American cars. You can see we do have more stuff like the Oldsmobile 442, another classic muscle car. We have a Lotus Esprit, looking nice. I think that's how they say it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we do have more stuff over here, like this Porsche 993, very classic. If you come right here, we have the De Tomaso Pantera, which is not something you get to see every day, especially nowadays. Underrated supercar in the modern era, in my opinion. We have a very nice Mustang, very nice spec too. We actually have quite a few, including a few GT350s also from the late 1960s. We have a very nice Quattrofoglio there, followed by a few more muscle cars. You can see we have a Chevelle C8, and here's the GT350. Here's one of like 3 of them from this era, from around like the 1967 era, I believe. You can see across the street we have a nice F430, C8, C2, you name it. But what is a highlight right here is this Shelby Cobra. Even though it's most likely a replica, well no, I could actually tell. Yeah, this is a replica, I'd say. I'm pretty sure. Even though it is a replica, it still is very cool. A lot of them still do use the original 7-liter 427 cubic inch V8, made famous by Carroll Shelby. So yeah, but one of the fastest cars of its time, one of the craziest cars too, one of my favorite muscle cars of all time, if not my favorite. Like, I'd love to own one even if it was a replica. A lot of them do look pretty legit. Alright, something we definitely have to check out is this Aventador. I've seen this before at Caffiene Carburetors, but yeah, it is insane. This is one of my favorite specs on the Aventador, and yeah, that red color too. Like, you don't see that too much. The rims, it's basically a top spec, pretty much. You can see we do not only have that, we have a nice McLaren 720S lined up with an Aston Martin DB9, which is probably one of the cheapest V12 supercars you could get. You can find these for under 50K, which I think is an amazing deal. Or over here you have a 430 Scuderia, one of my favorite Ferraris of the 2000s, I'd say. But yeah, we gotta get a view of that. This 430 Scuderia, it's one of my dream cars, honestly. Like, and if you hear the V8, it sounds like really good. It's basically a race car for the road. It's the closest thing you could get to it, or one of the closest things you could get to a race car for the road. You can see we do have a lot of Porsche 356s here today. We have a Ford GT right there in white. We have a very nice F-Type in orange. Of course, it's lined up with this BMW 2002 because they're almost the same color. Wow, that bright orange. See, usually I wouldn't really care for an F-Type. I mean, they are nice, but when it's in this color, it definitely does catch a little more attention, for sure. You can see we have some of the 1932 Ford hot rods over there. And then just more stuff following the crowd. As we make our way towards Rapasi Motorworks, we do have a lot of Porsches because that's what they are known for, Rapasi, however you say it. You can see we do have some classics, some more modern ones. But what definitely catches the attention is this Porsche Carrera GT. Now a $2 million hypercar, one of only 1,300, and it's out here in the rain. It's hard to believe that this car is 20 years old. This is insane. As we make our way over here, you can see across the street, we have 308, probably one of the most recognizable Ferraris and one of the most iconic sports cars of the 1980s, made famous by the TV series Magnum PI. But not only that, we have it lined up with a more modern, like fast forward 10 or 15 years, to the F355. One of my favorites, one of 3 F355s I saw today. 2 of them were actually in yellow. This example is an F355 GTS F1 with the F1 transmission. So it is not a manual, which the manual F355s are even rarer and more expensive. You can see here we have a very nice Ford Carrera RS white, a few more vets, another C1, one of many of them. And then we do have the Bumper Works Porsche, which was at Greenwich Concours 3 weeks ago.
Got to get rid of any grease or dust.
And yeah, we pretty much saw almost
to
everything.
be able to
I'd say.
complete the process.
You can see there we have a gate car, Porsche 911. And then some of the other 911s and 356s down here. Over here we do have another classic GT350 from around 1967, I'd say. But yeah, I think it looks best in this spec, white with blue stripes. Very iconic on the Mustang and the Shelby GT350. These are worth like 200,000 nowadays, sometimes even more. It all depends on the condition. And over here we have a Ferrari Mondial, probably the cheapest Ferrari you could get on sale. These are only worth like 50,000, sometimes even less. However, it still is a classic 1980s supercar and is often ignored in the Ferrari world. So, yeah. I don't know, do you guys think this is worth the money to own a Ferrari for 50,000? It is a mid-engine V8 supercar, so I honestly wouldn't mind it, but I do think there are better options like the DB9 for the same price. You can see here we have first gen NSX, we have the Shark Blue 911 GT3, and just to cover as much as possible, we'll just do another walk around. A lot of Dodge Challengers. That is a Scat Pack, not a Hellcat. Here we have a very nice F12 Berlinetta. Really nice color. Looking awesome, in my opinion. If you check out the front grille, it kind of reminds me of the classic Ferraris of the 1960s. You can see V8 versus V12. We have it lined up with this F355.
I don't mind if you use them.